Hello, travelers and tourists. My name is Mark, and I am the local disaster tour guide. That's right, I am a storyteller who decided to finally tell a story for this channel. Welcome to a journey through the fantastic world of TTRPGs like Pathfinder and Starfinder. For today's video, I am going to be running a first level adventure that I designed for Pathfinder 2nd Edition called Coopertown's Chaotic Carnival, and I have invited some friends to join me on an adventure and see what kind of shenanigans they can cause or maybe prevent during the course of this adventure. So, really quick, let me introduce my guests. Let's start with Drew. Drew, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are.
Hi, my name is Drew, and I run the Team Player Gaming YouTube channel, a channel that is all about the teamwork aspects of Pathfinder 2e. Uh, I'm sure there'll be a link somewhere in the description for my channel. Uh, why don't we do Cameron next?
Sure. I'm Cameron, also known as the BadLuckGamer. You can catch me on Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. I do all things tabletop, predominantly Pathfinder at this time. And hopefully by the time this video is coming out, all my Rage of Elements stuff will be out. The new archetypes are coming in the new game. So you can check those out there.
All right, Cody, you're next.
My name's Cody. I've been playing tabletop RPGs for over half my life now, and really looking forward to playing some Pathfinder.
And Steven.
Hi, I'm Steven. I am one of Mark's in real life friends. Believe it or not, he does have a few of those. And I also play regularly at his table, so I'm excited to be here.
So, the first question I have for you all today, and I'll give you each a chance to answer. What characters have you chosen to bring to this adventure? And we'll pass it over to Drew to introduce his character first.
Yeah, I know this is pretty on the nose, especially considering my channel, but I am playing Fester Softcloud, a skilled human bard.
Cameron?
I am playing Hazeldorf, a sylph gnome alchemist and master of mist and illusions.
All right. Cody?
I caught myself when I was building my character falling into the trope of an elven ranger, so I naturally had to go with the name Gregolas. And I am accompanied by my dog companion, Bimley.
And Steven.
I am playing a human swashbuckler. His name is Jameson. He is a sailor in training, and he is excited to be a part of the shenanigans that are going down at the fair.
Well, with that, we will go ahead and dive into our story. Our story begins outside of a small town known as Cooperton. And every summer, Cooperton likes to host a small carnival just as a, holiday celebration, something fun for the town to do. But this year, a problem has developed, and it's sort of a good problem, but still there's some issues. When the mayor, Dennis, sent out requests for different groups and different performers to come and participate in the carnival, he got a lot more response than he was initially expecting, and as a result, what is normally a very small event has turned into the talk of villages all across the area, and there has been a huge outpouring of interest and people coming to participate in this carnival. The event has grown far larger than the town was initially prepared for. So, like any small town with a big event that they need to take care of, Cooperton reached out to a local university and found some poor college students who need some extra money to run security for the event. And that is where our heroes come in. Each of you, you have been introduced to Mayor Dennis Cooper. His family name is the name of the town. You can immediately tell that he comes from a prominent family in the area. And upon meeting him, you almost immediately recognize the stressed dad energy. You know, if you've ever seen a dad that's taking his kids to Disney World and the kids are getting started and dad's already done for the day, that's kind of the energy that this guy is portraying. He's in his mid 50s, rapidly graying hair. He wears spectacles, and he tries to dress professionally, but you can kind of tell that this poor man has been panicking for weeks trying to get this carnival together. He takes you around the carnival grounds, and I know I gave you guys these notes before we got on the call, but to do a quick rehash, the carnival is being set up in a clearing outside of town. It is a large area surrounded by woods, and it's divided into roughly 5 different sections. You all are based in the far eastern section of the clearing. It is essentially the food court area of the carnival. There is an elderly dwarven lady by the name of Granny Linola who runs the food court. She oversees, the fruit cart, the candy stand, the ale garden, all that good stuff. And she kind of has the mischievous grandma energy to her. She's constantly joking with people and prodding with people, but she oversees the food court and the different stands that are being run. And then back behind the food court is actually the makeshift tent where they've set up the business office for this carnival. And that's where you have been meeting with Mayor Dennis and his bookkeeper, Daisy Redstar, who is a tiefling. You meet them, and then he gives you a quick tour of the grounds. Moving around, going from what would be eastern part of the grounds up to the northern section, there is basically an open ring that has been set up with a number of trapezes and trampolines and other staging for an acrobatic show. And you are introduced to a dashing tiefling man by the name of Dante and his troupe of Dante's Dauntless Daredevils, a bunch of teenagers that he is training to do acrobatic shows. So you get to meet him, and then you move further around to the western portion of the fair, which is where the actual carnival entrance is. And around the carnival entrance is a number of different games. You've got your ring tosses, you've got your milk jugs, you've got the knocking over the bottles, all the things you would expect to see at a carnival grounds. And running that area is a small halfling woman by the name of Primrose. And then moving down to the south, you get to the petting zoo. An orcish huntmaster by the name of Jolaw has set up a petting zoo for the kids to come through and play with all kinds of different animals. And he has the regular variety of animals you would expect at a petting zoo. You've got your ponies and your sheep and, just all the different animals you would expect to see. But he's also brought a few special attractions. First, there is a tent that has been set up. And even on casual observation, you can tell that this tent has been magically enchanted. And inside of this tent are a number of small worm-like creatures with dragon heads that float and fly around, called popworms. And they get their name from they have the ability to magically jump, but before they magically jump, they make a pop sound and then will jump 5 or 10 feet. They're very playful creatures. They've got a little bit of an electrical aura to them, not enough to hurt you, but they love to fly around other creatures and shock them a little bit, and they're just very playful flying popworms that kids can play with. And then there are 2 large pins, one containing baby owlbears and another containing pot-bellied bullets, which almost no one has heard of before. These are apparently a new type of creature that this orc hunt master has bred or found. No one knows for sure. But they kind of look like if you took an old medieval frog helmet and stuck it on the head of a bulldog. But they're just these little like gray metallic creatures that look angry but are surprisingly friendly and playful. Although you do have to watch out a little bit. Jolaw warned you that they do like to try to knock people over. So if they catch you off guard, they will try to run into you. So you get the circuit of the fairgrounds. But the last portion of the tour, if you will, is to the very center area. And there is... Sorry, I lost my note card. There is a goblin gearmaster by the name of Aliok who runs carnival rides. There are bumper cars, there's a mechanical bull, there's the large spinning teacups, and the ride that he calls the Pride and Joy, a large, very questionable rusty Ferris wheel that just sits in the center of the fairgrounds and plays some of that like hauntingly beautiful but also terrifying carnival music as it spins round and round. But over the course of the afternoon, Mayor Dennis takes you around to all of these different individuals, introduces you to them, kind of gives you the layout of the grounds, and then he brings you back to the business office, and he basically lays out the scenario. I'm so sorry to ask such a large job of you all, but as you can tell, this carnival, it has grown massive, and we just weren't prepared for crowds this big. That's why we've had to ask you all to come in and run security. We want this carnival to go well. We want the people to have a good time. We want this to be a successful event. But with so many people and so many things going on, there's just a lot that could go wrong. So what I'm asking you all to do tonight is just kind of spread yourselves around the carnival, keep the crowds moving, keep the crowds happy, and please do whatever you can to keep stuff from going wrong. I just want this night to go well. Do you all have any questions?
How much were we getting paid again?
He glances over to Daisy, and she looks up from her books and says, "I believe the rate was 5 silver an hour."
I mean, honestly, as a poor sailor in training, I'll take it. I mean, I'm broke because the captain docked my pay.
Wah wah.
Are there any areas that you're the most worried where something might go wrong?
I'm not completely sure. Usually this is a small carnival, and usually things are pretty chill. I could see problems all over the place. That Ferris wheel looks terrifying, and I've never even heard of a pot-bellied bullet before, and you kind of see him doing the mental calculus in his mind, and the further it goes, the farther you can just see him oh no, everything's going to explode in just kind of the look that's across his face.
Okay. Well, it sounds like we're going to have to split up to do this. Okay. So, I personally think that the ranger is probably the best person to keep an eye on the area that's where the animals are, more than likely. Mr. Alchemist, how are you at structural stuff?
Hazeldorf.
Hazeldorf.
And I mean, relatively fine. I don't think I packed any universal glues or anything on myself, but I think I could manage somewhat.
Okay. I think you should keep an eye on that Ferris wheel because that could be very very bad if that falls over.
I hope this place is up to code. No loose nuts or bolts or anything like that.
That Ferris wheel looks bad to me.
When you say the phrase up to code, you hear Daisy just kind of sigh briefly.
I see we're gonna be in for a busy day.
Yeah.
But basically,
I'm sorry, guys. My connection cut out really bad. I missed a whole chunk of conversation somewhere.
we are presently deciding how you all want to divide up and try to provide for the security of this carnival.
And what I
I got
said was I think you should probably be in the area with the animals. And Mr. Hazeldorf might want to watch that Ferris wheel.
okay. I caught that part, but there was a part like right after that. I don't know if my connection cut out, and I did. I heard like a really hurried jibber jabber, so I missed whatever happened after that.
I was just talking about how excited I was for the evening.
Let's
Oh,
see here. Um,
It was a discussion of how everything is up to code and absolutely nothing is going to go wrong. This should be an easy job.
Is there OSHA in Galarian? Just wondering.
No, there is not.
let's see.
there's Ocean.
This guy.
I can probably deal with like customer complaints and stuff. I'm trying to think what our last member could be doing.
But essentially, at this point, leaves you all to kind of figure out what you want to do, and he's goes out to start kind of wandering the fairgrounds and also try to like start greeting people and hopefully keep crowds moving and stuff. So
Before he goes, is it just our group that's in charge of security, or is the town guard involved in this, or?
this town is not normally big enough to have a guard, so that's why they had to bring security in.
So we're on.
Yes, you all are it.
Okay. You said the Ferris wheel is like in the center of the carnival, right?
Yeah. You can kind of think of the carnival as divided into those 5 sections. The very center is the rides section with the Ferris wheel in the middle, and then to the west is the entrance and games. To the east is the food court, and that's also where you all currently are in the business tent. The north is the acrobat show ring, and the south is the petting zoo.
Hmm. Okay.
I almost
I
feel
think
like I should set up in the games area.
Okay. All right. Okay. Isn't that near the entrance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I guess I can. I guess I can go to. Let's see here. I guess I can do the food. I can stay here in the food court. That's probably the best place for me.
Okay.
I think Hazeldorf here might want to be looking around, making sure there's no structural problems.
Okay, so if I've got this correct, Hazeldorf is going to go to the central area to the rides. Um, Jameson is going to go to the western area to the games near the entrance. Gregolas is going to go to the south to the petting zoo. And Fester is going to stay in the food court.
Yeah.
How's that sound to everyone?
Sounds like a plan to me.
It is definitely a plan.
Maybe we should go speak with Dante about, since we're not covering that area, if he could have somebody ready to go if something does go wrong to come find us.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Easily enough, you all you've got a little bit of time before the carnival properly begins, so you can kind of let everybody know what the plan is, and you inform Dante, and he's got several different teenagers that are part of his troupe, and so basically he says he'll always have one that's kind of on the if something goes wrong, they're not performing right now, they can run and get help. So
sounds good.
All right. So you guys come up with your plan. You figure out your stations and familiarize yourself with everything. And then the sun begins to set and the crowd begins to roll in. And the crowd for this carnival is huge beyond the scope of what a town this size would be prepared for. You can tell that villages from all over the place have been people have been coming and showing up, and very quickly this place is getting packed to the brim. And in fact, we'll go ahead and start with Jameson in the games area near the entrance, because Jameson, you notice a problem almost immediately in that so many people are crowding around the games that it's kind of clogging up the traffic, and it's making it hard for other people who are coming in to make their way into the carnival. What are you doing?
I think I would have tried to start out using some diplomacy to try and encourage people to be more mindful of how they're traveling and assembling, try to get people organized into queue lines for the games and that sort of thing.
All right. Go ahead and give me a diplomacy check.
Okay, I got it. That is a 15 total.
Easily enough. Crowds are excited. People are interested to check things out. It's not too hard to be like, hey, have you seen the Ferris Wheel? Or, hey, the acrobats are up there. So it's pretty easy to get the crowds moving, and you've got a pretty good pace of things going. And you're getting the lines and queues set up for the games and what have you. Let's go over to Hazeldorf in the ride section. What are you up to?
He's sitting there amongst the crowd, and he does not look too happy, as he is about at most waist high or hip high with anyone. He's not really that good at seeing things in a big crowd of people, being just a small gnome that he is. He brings out Jimothy, who's this little gangly homunculus. And he goes over to the booth where the operator is, and he just tiptoes, puts Jimothy up on top of the booth, and he's like, all right, Jimothy, if anything happens, well, I mean, you can't really tell me, as you can't really talk, but
almost immediately Jimothy starts going,
what is it, boy? Tell me.
Give me a perception check.
13.
This is pretty easy to spot. He is pointing over towards the teacups ride, and you see that there are a couple of small kids, look to be 6 or 7 in age, who are trying to make their way under the ropes and get back to where the ride operator sits.
He'll go over and start shouting and be like, "Get out of there, you darn kids!" And I'll roll intimidation to scare them straight. "13."
Easy enough, easy enough. They're small kids. They laugh and giggle and run off whenever you spot them, but with your homunculus kind of posted up, that's kind of what the first hour and a half of your job is him spotting kids trying to get in places they shouldn't be, and you running around and shooing them off. But you've got a pretty good system worked out. Let's move over to the food court and Fester. Fester, what are you up to?
I'm just kind of I'm still watching for trouble, but I'm also playing music for the people that go into the food court.
Okay. Give me a performance check.
All right. Let me look here and see what performances. Okay. Cool. Not very good. A 10.
The crowd response is iffy at best, but then again, there's so much noise, you kind of feel like it's hard for people to even hear what you're doing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But in addition to that, give me a perception check to see how things are going in the food court.
Okay. All right. Sure. 1 second. Perception. Okay. All right. Okay, this time I got a 23.
Okay. So very quickly, you notice a suspicious character in the food court. There
Okay.
is a half-elven teenage girl, looks to be around the equivalent of age of like 13 to 14. Short cut red hair that's been done up in pigtails. Very much looks like a farm girl, but you can almost immediately tell from her demeanor that she is a farm girl who is up to something. And so you peg her pretty quickly, moving around the food court, and so you
Okay.
begin to track her, and
All right.
very quickly you notice that she's eyeballing the fruit stand. She like the one of the local villagers is selling apples and melons and all kinds of different just garden fruits and what have you, and you can tell like she keeps walking past it, engaging, and she's very clearly planning something. What are you up to?
Well, that is a very good question. I'm going to walk up to her, and I'm going to say, "Are you just going to look at? Are you just going to look at that fruit, or are you actually going to buy it?"
Wow.
Mister, I didn't bring any money with me.
Huh.
It looks good, but I don't have any money to buy it with. Could you buy me some fruit?
I might be able to. Hold on. Have any money? I have a little bit. What? And I kind of reach into my pocket and I pull out a silver piece and I ask the vendor. Well, first I ask her what kind of fruit would she like.
Oh, those apples look delicious.
Okay, all right. And I'm gonna ask the vendor how much for the apples.
They're a copper each.
Okay, all right. I put the silver back in my pocket. I pull out a couple pieces of copper, and I give it to him. And I take the apples and I give it to her and say, "Now you're gonna eat these, right? You're not gonna like throw them anywhere, right?"
All right. Really quick, what is your perception DC?
16.
Okay. So as this whole exchange is taking place, you very easily catch this. When you go to pay for the apples and like you're working with the merchant, she reaches over and she tries to grab like a small watermelon and tuck it down out of sight, and you realize she was straight up trying to like steal the thing.
Mm-hmm. All right. When she does that, I'm gonna grab her arm and say, "Now hold on. What are you doing?"
Oh, nothing, and she puts it back.
Now you know stealing's wrong, right? What are you
Uh,
doing?
I'm sorry, mister. I, I shouldn't have tried to steal that.
I'd like to do another sense motive on that.
Sure, give me a perception check.
Yeah. Okay. 17.
17?
No, sorry. 21.
21.
Sorry, I added 2, not 6.
Okay, so at this point, you clock a couple of other kids
Okay.
that are watching from a little bit further away, and you can tell both of those kids are about to hit a couple of the other food stands. Like one of them you see is like slowly working his way towards some turkey legs, and there's another girl that looks like she's about to grab some candy out of one of the stalls. And you very quickly realize that these three kids are coordinating with each other to try to hit and steal as much food from this place as they can.
Mm. All right, I think it's time for some intimidation.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say them. All right, look, you kids need to get out of here and stop stealing stuff.
Okay.
Mhm.
Give me an intimidate check to round up these kids and get them to move on.
Mhm. 19.
Okay. You have caught these kids in the act, and they don't want serious trouble. So, are you kicking them out of the out of the carnival completely, or do you just want to get them out of the food court?
Uh, I guess I wouldn't know if these are the same kids that have been trying to sneak into the other rides, right?
That would have been different kids, but you didn't know about those kids.
Okay, yeah. I think I'm just gonna kick them out of the food court.
Okay. Um, so the first one you spotted, the redhead, she heads up to Dante's Daredevil show, and then the other two, one of them heads towards the rides, and one of them heads towards the petting zoo. And speaking of the petting zoo, uh, Gregolas, what are you up to?
I'm probably just patrolling the petting zoo, having to chase kids away from petting my dog, who is not part of the zoo, and just monitoring the demeanor of the animals as well as the demeanor of the crowd.
Okay. I will tell you that Bimley is very popular and is getting lots of attention. Um, the
Is he an emotional support dog? Is that why he's getting all the attention?
um,
He's not my emotional support dog.
so, anyways, give me a nature check to kind of monitor the animals and see how they're doing.
I got an 18.
Okay. Well, first off, you are very impressed. Joe Law runs a very good petting zoo. You can tell that these animals are all very well socialized. They're used to getting lots of attention, and the various areas he has set up to kind of contain them, you can tell that they are well structured, well maintained. This man runs a good show. And so, for the first hour, for the most part, a lot of what you're doing is just uh, keeping people from flooding Bimley because Bimley's not part of the show. Um, However, after a little bit, you do see one of the pot-bellied bullets. There are a group of kids that have swarmed the biggest of these pot-bellied bullets, and they're all trying to play with it, but you know the whole thing where like kids play a little too hard and then the animal starts to get grumpy? You see that starting to happen.
Okay, I'm going to approach the scene and try and muscle my way in through the kids. Does that calm the Bullet's demeanor at all?
Give me a nature check to try to calm it down.
13.
All right. Um, you calm it down, but kind of just barely. Like, there's so many kids crowding around it, you can tell that the animal's getting a little bit overstimulated. Um, and Joe Law actually sees this happening, and you see him starting to come over, and he starts yelling at the kids, "Hey, get away from Wimpy! Don't, no, stop teasing him! Stop teasing him!" Um,
Can I cast Tame?
sure.
Okay, Wimpy, is that the Bullet's name?
Yes.
Needs to make a will save, I think a DC 15.
Okay. Um, Wimpy makes the will save, so he resists the magic. But I will say between you there and Joe Law coming up, that honestly, after a couple of minutes, you can get him under control anyways. He just, it takes a little bit longer because he's a little bit angrier than normal.
Okay. Because, I mean, even with Tame, I'm still making calming sounds and
Yeah.
trying to, what you would normally do with an animal, just the magic doesn't take effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can tell it shrugs off the magic, but Joe Law actually comes over with some jerky and starts to feed Wimpy a little bit and gives you some to feed Wimpy so that he'll react to you. And it takes you a few minutes, but you see the tension kind of ease out of this creature, and it kind of goes back to normal. So, um, but in any case, that's kind of the first hour and a half. It's Night is starting to fall. It's getting dark. There's torches all over the place, and the carnival is in full swing. The crowds are happy. They're having a good time. Um, are you all going to keep your current positions in the carnival, or would you all like to move to new stations? What are you doing?
I'm probably going to
I
stay
feel like
where
the I feel like the games area is going pretty smoothly. So if anyone would appreciate like a backup buddy, I'd be happy to move somewhere else.
I think for the time being, we should probably stay where we're at. I mean, that's what I'm going to do.
Hazeldorf is just sitting there, sighing and looking at the crowd, being relegated more to an angry babysitter than he is an adventurer, what he's supposed to be.
Hazeldorf, do you need a friend?
No, I need lots and lots of coffee.
You sound like you need a pat on the back and some bad jokes.
I would like none of either.
Fine, I'll stay where I am then.
No, you can come. It's fine. My gosh. How are things over there on your side of the fairgrounds?
I mean, so far, people are listening if I try to organize them, by the games and stuff. So it's going pretty well, honestly. I mean, I'm fine to keep a watch because it's getting dark. Some of the people are probably getting tired and grumpy, so games might be getting a little more out of hand.
That does sound annoying, though. Granted, it's not like you have little children running in areas that might grind them up into little bits. So
I do have a game where kids try to pick a duck, so that's amusing.
yes, that's at all similar.
Okay, so did we ever decide whether we actually know each other or not, or if
We can now. It's improv.
Yeah.
What class did you take together
I
at
am in the
university?
food court, so I could bring you guys stuff if it came down to it.
I mean, I imagine Jameson has seen you guys around the school where we're learning adventuring, but he may not be there very much because he is learning his trade by way of an apprenticeship.
Actually, an important question. Fester, have you let any of your fellow security guards know about the teenage thieves that you were dealing with?
Oh yes, I would have let them. I would have let them know as soon as possible.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So all of you all at some point have been made aware of this group of teenagers and their ringleader, the little red-haired half-elven girl.
Yeah. In fact, as soon as they left, I would have more than likely. Well, no, I don't want to do that. Never mind. It's a good idea in theory, but no.
Okay. Gregolas, are you gonna hold your current position, or do you want to move to somewhere else in the carnival?
I'm going to stay where I am and keep an eye. You said one of the kids are heading my way,
Yeah.
so I'm going to keep a watch out for them.
Okay. All right. Well, easy enough. Since Fester gave you the description of the kid, it's easy enough for you to tag them, and you just kind of keep them in the corner of your eye, what have you, as the night goes on. Gregolas, because of where you are, I'm going to need you to give me a perception check.
Okay. That's a nat 1 for an 8 total.
Okay. Well, the good news is you definitely do not see this coming.
I'm very distracted with Wimpy. He's adorable. He's a big sweetheart.
Yeah, Wimpy is now your new best friend, and ever since you started feeding him the jerky, he's like constantly snuggling up to you and trying to get more. And as he is interacting with you, you fail to notice a tent flying in your direction. So give me a reflex save.
That's better than a 1. That's a 16 total.
Okay, that will be enough to kind of you hear the sound of something coming and you duck out of the way at the last second. As you reorient yourself, what you realize is a powerful gust of wind had picked up, and that enchanted tent that covered over the popworms has got yanked up and is flying across the carnival grounds and kind of bouncing along. You narrowly dodged getting wrapped up in it, but as it is fluttering away, that enchantment that kept all of those popworms in place is gone. And all of a sudden, these little flying dragon creatures start to pop wildly and start shooting off in every direction around the carnival. And everybody else can go ahead and give me perception checks at a DC 20 to notice this going on.
Nope, I got a 13 again.
No, I got a 14 total.
I got 17.
Okay. So, for the moment, Gregolas, there is a tent rapidly rolling across the petting zoo and sending people and animals scattering in every direction. And there are these little electric popworms flying through the air and jumping all over the place. What are you doing?
So how big are these popworms and how many are there?
There are a couple of dozen of them, and they are probably about a foot to a foot and a half long.
Okay, I want to send Bimley to start retrieving some of them, and I'm going to try and chase down the tent. And I have a grappling arrow that I'm going to try and shoot it with to hold it down.
Okay. Give me an athletics check to try to capture and get the tent under control, and give me a survival check for Bimley.
Okay, I got a 9 on the athletics roll. Having to pull up Bimley's sheet real quick. You say nature or survival?
Survival.
So, what is his bonus to that? Because it just says that his skill is survival.
He would be trained, so that would be 3 plus his wisdom modifier.
Okay, I rolled a nat 1 again, so that's a 5 total for him. Things are going great.
No, Bimley.
Okay, so you fire the arrow into the tent, and the arrow sinks in. It's easy enough to hit. You're a trained marksman. But when you run over to start grabbing the tent and pulling it down, the wind just picks back up at the worst possible moment and rips it out of your hands. And so it goes flying, and it lands in the middle of the owlbear, the baby owlbear section. And owlbears are known for one particular defensive tactic: really loud screeches. So all of a sudden, these baby owlbears, who had no idea this was coming, all start screaming and screeching in unison and running like crazy all around the pen, sending everyone there into panic. And at the same time, Bimley decides to roll over and let all of his friends pet his belly, because he's been making so many friends at this carnival and he absolutely loves the attention.
Stupid dog got soft.
Um, so, in any case, you are having no luck containing the chaos, but good news is there are now very loud screeching owlbears, which means everybody else, you can now hear that something is going on in that section of the carnival. You hear animals going berserk. So what are you all doing? We'll start with Hazeldorf.
What could it possibly be now? He thinks for a moment, is this something that needs my attention? He looks over, and then he just sees like a tent just over the crowd, and then popping noises, and he's like, well, hope no kids get ground up underneath the spinning cup toy when I'm gone. Come, Jimothy. And he grabs Jimothy, and he's gonna run in that direction.
Okay. Fester, what are you up to?
Yeah. I'm doing generally the same thing. I'm heading over there.
Okay. And Jameson?
Hello?
Sorry, I was checking the map. So that's like all the way across the park from where I'm at. So I'm like, I don't know. Sounds like somebody needs a hug, but that's a long way to go for a hug. I don't know. I might wander down to the rides area so I can get a little bit closer and just kind of observe and make sure nothing goes absolutely haywire.
Okay. So you're moving to the central rides area to kind of watch that while everybody else goes to take care of the chaos in the petting zoo.
Yeah, I figure if I'm in the rides area, if things start getting like insane at the zoo, I'm at least close enough I could get there fairly quickly.
Okay. Gregolas, as your two allies are running to help, what are you doing?
I'm gonna try and make a nature roll to calm the owlbears down as I'm like pulling the tent off of them.
Okay.
It's not a 1, but it's a 2. That's 7 total.
Unfortunately, your best efforts are not going well at all. The baby owlbears, are so terrified that several of them have started to climb over the fence that contains them and are now kind of running wild through the carnival grounds. So that is happening, and as Fester and Hazeldorf come running up, the situation gets just a little bit more chaotic because those popworms, remember how I mentioned that they like to play with people by like giving them light zaps? Well, a group of popworms have decided to play with the pot-bellied bullets and start shocking them for fun. And several of the pot-bellied bullets, including Wimpy, get terrified by these shocks and proceed to bust their way through the fence and start running like crazy across the carnival grounds as well. I will say that the three of you are able to convene as this is happening, and Jolaw runs up at the exact same time. He sees this going on, and he's holding some small nets that are made out of a thick gray material. And Gregolas, you would recognize this is the same material as the tent that it has been flying all over the place. He runs up with these small nets and starts to hand them to you all and says, "You'll need these to catch the popworms. I know that's not the priority right now, but you'll need them." So, what are you all doing?
What is the priority right now?
About this time, you see Wimpy, the pot-bellied bullet, just ram into a teenager and send them flying over a picnic table.
I think the bullets are priority 1.
Yeah, I think so.
No, I think we should let them keep going.
they are teenagers, but yeah, we are security, so.
Yeah, the bullets are probably I'm gonna try to get the bullets' attention and try to calm them down with like a little dance
Okay.
or something to that effect.
Gonna use some music and dance to try to at least get their attention.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Give me a performance check.
Yeah. Oh wow, another 10.
Um, unfortunately, large crowds, lots of noise, and
Yeah.
energetic animals. Just you're not going well for you. Gregolas, what are you gonna try?
Okay.
So the first thing I want to do is yell at Bimley to get up and earn his keep. I don't know if I need to do an intimidation roll for that or what.
Um, he kind of does the Scooby Doo and gets up and shakes off the kids, and he is ready to follow directions again.
Okay, I want him to do like he was before and try and grab some popworms and bring them to me. And I'm going to find Wimpy other bullet's attention with some jerky that I have left over.
You cut out for a second there. Can you repeat that part?
I want Bimley to continue what he was doing and try and grab some popworms and retrieve them and bring them to me, while I want to use some of the jerky I have to get the bullet's attention.
Okay. Nature check on your part, survival check on the part of Bimley.
Mark, I am not making this up. I rolled a nat 1 again on nature.
I think you need new dice.
I told you guys before we started, I was nervous about using Path Builder to roll my dice, and I was right.
Never trust an algorithm when physics are involved.
Hey,
Bimley rolled an 8.
Bimley has an 18.
An 8 plus 1 from wisdom, and then you said he's trained, so is that a plus
3.
5?
It's
Plus 3.
Yeah. So that'd be 12 total?
That's right.
Okay. Bimley manages to catch one of the popworms and bring it back. And Jolaw very quickly wraps it up in some of that gray material, which seems to calm the magic of the popworm down. Unfortunately for you, you're just frantically chasing these pot-bellied bullets, and they are not paying attention to you at all. The time for jerky has gone. There is a carnival to run around in. Speaking of which, Jameson, a pot-bellied bullet comes charging into the rides section and
Fun.
is knocking kids all over the place and is running into things and seems to be very frantic and kind of terrified of what's happening. What are you doing?
Okay, in my backpack, I have a length of rope. Can I attempt to use this rope to try and lasso this bullet and grab a hold of it?
Sure. We will call that an athletics check.
Okay, let me check here. Okay, so Cody, you'll appreciate this. That's a nat 1.
They should have got different college students.
If you're a college student who has ever worked security in an event like this, you know that this is perfectly accurate to how these things go.
Can I attempt to salvage my failure in lassoing the bullet? Do they understand language? Could I attempt to use Bon Mot on it to distract it?
You could try. You've never seen these before, but it's worth a shot.
Okay, I'm going to make an attempt. So I think I can use my diplomacy with that because of my, I think it's my one for all feat.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try a diplomacy check and see how this goes. Okay, so I misread my abilities. One for all does not affect bond mod. That's if I'm trying to aid somebody.
Okay.
So let me see here how this works with bond mod.
I think you would still be able to use Bon Mot. It's not part of One for All, but it does let you try to distract people with diplomacy. So I think it's still valid in this instance.
Okay, I misunderstood what one for all would do. So that one for all doesn't play into effect here, but I'm targeting the target's will DC,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a total of 14.
Okay. Um, I will say that is enough to get the pot-bellied bullet's attention. It is paying attention to you now. Of all of the chaos around it, of all the people running and all the things that are happening, the creature has noticed you and is aware of you, um, to the exclusion of others. But really quick, I want to jump back to Hazeldorf and see, Hazeldorf, what are you doing in all of this mess?
I'm watching my allies struggle right now pretty hard. Are there still a bunch of people around?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's going to sneak into the crowd, as you can use crowds for concealment.
Okay.
And he's going to approach the ones that Fester was trying to distract with dancing. And he's going to pull out some manacles.
Okay.
Because I have some simple manacles. And I'm going to try to like get the back legs of the bullet and just slow it down.
Okay. All right. Give me an athletics check to try to get up behind this creature and slap the manacles on its legs.
Do we have like a hero point mechanic like in our table games to like award hero points for something like that?
Yeah, I should have given you all 2 hero points at the start of the game, so I'm great at remembering those, as you can tell.
I will say, just because I have a -1 and I do want this to succeed, technically applying manacles. Let me double check real quick. They have to be at my mercy. Okay. All right, that does make sense then. Darn. I would have much have rather got rolled a stealth. We'll try.
Hey, you got a hero
It's
point if you need it.
flat-footed.
That's fair. That's fair. It's not aware of you.
I got a 1. And on that one, I got 2 -1. Hero point?
You may use your hero point.
Okay. A 9.
Unfortunately, not quite enough to actually restrain the creature. You manage to grab onto it briefly, but before you can slap the manacles on, it kicks out and continues going. Really quick, I'm going to roll to see how Jola is doing in this mess. Okay, Jola actually rolled a nat 20, so he is proving quite helpful. We'll say that since you all are chasing the pot-bellied bullets, the baby owlbears that had started to crawl out of their enclosure, he is rounding them up and getting them back inside of their enclosure as you all are working on the bullets. So back to Gregolas.
All right. So, did you say all of the bullets had moved out of the petting zoo?
There's I think I said 3 total had like busted their way out and were rampaging through. So there's currently 2 in your all's area, one that Hazeldorf and Fester were working on, and then a second, and then there's one. Wimpy actually made his way to the ride section.
And then Jameson's dealing with Wimpy, as far as I know, right? Or do I know?
You know,
Jameson is trying to deal with Wimpy.
you know which direction Wimpy went. You don't necessarily know what's going on with Wimpy at the moment.
I'm going to go after Wimpy then, because I don't know that someone else is taking care of him.
Okay. So you take off running in that direction, and you find you find Wimpy kind of in between a couple of rides, and his Wimpy is focused right now in a very curious but cautious fashion on Jameson. Jameson, what are you doing to fascinate Wimpy right now?
Well, rules as written, Bonmot says I'm using like quips to try and distract my foe. So I'm actually throwing like really bad sailor jokes at Wimpy to try and distract him, because I don't know if he understands me or not. But it's about all I got.
Okay, you're just talking and making noises, and it's entertaining the creature. So, Gregolas, this is what you see. You're coming up behind Wimpy. What would you like to do?
I just kind of have to stop for a second, and Wimpy is responding to these horrible jokes, and I'm gonna like kind of step in next to Jameson and like kind of wave the jerky in front of him, like, "Hey, Wimpy, you remember this? You want some jerky?"
All right, give me a nature check.
Okay, I'm done with the Path Builder. I broke out the actual physical dice, so let's hope this goes better. I mean, it can't go worse than a 1, I guess.
Why would you say that? You've jinxed yourself terribly.
Yeah, why would you say that out loud?
Yeah.
I like to live dangerously. I got a 16 plus. I have to actually do math now that I'm not using the app. That's a 21 total.
Okay. Between Jameson's banter that Wimpy doesn't understand, but something funny's going on, so he's paying attention. Between that and the jerky, you are able to calm Wimpy down, and it takes you a little bit, but you're able to begin working him back to the pens in the petting zoo area. So back to Fester and Hazeldorf. What would you guys like to do?
Do something about this bullet! He's on it,
Yeah.
trying his best to grapple it.
I think what I would like to do is try to aid the ranger in catching this bullet. Again, I think I'm just going to try to distract it with singing and dancing.
Okay. Give me another performance check.
Huh?
You cut out for the first part of what you were saying.
I'm gonna try to aid the ranger with what he's doing.
The ranger or the alchemist? The ranger is the one who went after Wimpy.
Oh, okay. I guess whoever's going after the other pot-bellied.
That would be Hazeldorf. You and Hazeldorf are currently working on
Okay,
one.
I'm going to try to aid Hazeldorf by distracting this. By trying to distract this potbelly. So, yeah. I guess I do that when he rolls, though, right?
You can go ahead and give me a performance check.
Okay, sure. All right. And you're counting this as aid, right? So, so I do get that +4 from my my cooperative nature. Okay, good. All right. Okay, that is 22.
Okay.
Yeah.
You find your voice. You manage to finally project loud enough, clear enough, something that this pot-bellied bullet kind of like stops its rampage and turns towards you. So while it is distracted, Hazeldorf, what are you doing?
So I'm gonna do something fun. Hazeldorp, it's distracted. He feels like he has a better chance by getting himself -1 athletics because I'm a wimpy little gnome. So to give myself the best possible advantage,
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna pull out a skunk bomb, and I'm effectively gonna splash it, so it's
Mm-hmm.
not gonna take a bunch of damage from the bomb itself, but it needs to make a DC 15 Fortitude save or become sickened.
DC 15?
Yes.
That will be a failure.
All right, it is now sickened 1, so it
Okay.
should have a -1 on all check
Everything.
saves DCs. Yeah. I'm gonna try to put the manacles on it now that it's hopefully distracted and or vomiting uncontrollably.
I'm assuming that
Do it.
I'm assuming that I rolled a success on that aid check,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
+1.
Yeah, I've got aid factored in.
Okay, cool.
So, for those doing the math at home, this should be a +1 onto my check and a -1 to the enemy's DCs, whatever they may be. So, -1. It's an 11.
Well, that is a failure, but it's not a critical failure, so you don't get the critical failure effect of being vomited on by a bullet.
I really want to get this done. I will try a hero point.
Sure.
Uh, 9.
Okay. You get closer, but not close enough. Let's see. I'm going to check for Joe Law and how he's doing with the owlbears, and he is going to finish reining in the owlbears. So you can count those as
good.
taking.
We don't have to worry. Okay, less chaos. We don't have to worry about that.
So Gregolas and Jameson are bringing Wimpy back to the enclosure. So it's just going to take you all time, but you all have that taken care of. For Hazeldorf and Fester, you can attempt to use nature checks or survival checks if you want on the pot-bellied pullet.
How am I at nature or survival? Nature, I'm untrained. Yeah, no, I'm not a hunt. I'm not good at nature or survival. So,
Keeping with the performance.
huh?
Keeping with performance, then.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So, do I need to roll that again?
Yeah.
Okay.
You caught its attention pretty well, but someone was trying to slap manacles on it, so it's probably getting worked up again.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, it's not A this time, so I only got a 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hazeldorf.
Well, I have a +1 at least in the other two. Okay. So 2-point difference. Oh no. How would survival factor into this?
Essentially trying to find something in the environment that could lure or influence the pot-bellied bullet's behavior.
Okay. Yeah, all right. I have a strange little fellow with me, so I'm gonna grab Jimothy and chuck him in front of the bullet, and maybe he's weird enough to help lure it away. I'm trying to use the animal psychology. How about that?
Okay.
Survival. 16.
We'll say between the skunk bomb and this weird creature that is now in front of the pot-bellied bullet, that it's getting nervous and starting to back up. And you all are between you and Fester, you all kind of work together to slowly like corral it back into place. Um, and Joe Law is rolling fantastically. I wish I could roll like this when I'm a player. That's his second natural 20. He joins in as well, so I would say it takes you all probably about half an hour to round up the pot-bellied bullets, to get them back inside the fencing, get the fencing put in place. But after a long and chaotic mess, the baby owlbears and the pot-bellied bullets are accounted for.
Okay.
All right, so welcome back. We pick back up after you all have successfully contained the rampaging pot-bellied bullets and baby owlbears. Really quick, just to see something, I need all of you to give me perception checks because that will influence the description I am about to give out.
Sure.
21.
25.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have a
22.
9.
Sorry, Cody, you first.
I got a 22.
Okay. And Jameson, you had a 9?
Yes.
Okay. So everyone but Jameson is going to notice a portion of this description I'm about to give out. So the carnival, for the most part, begins to settle down, and people kind of get back into the routine of the events of the evening. There is the obvious issue of the popworms that are all over the carnival now, flying each and every place, investigating all of these curious environments and sounds and sights. And you all are collecting together to prepare to go after these popworms and come up with a plan to contain them. But as you are kind of surveying the damage, everyone but Jameson notices something that is very peculiar. Near the entrance of the petting zoo, there is kind of the main booth where Joe Law was sitting, and he was taking money for people to come into the petting zoo. And the three of you notice that the wooden box that was used to collect funds has been knocked over and knocked open. But almost immediately, all of you pick up on this box was too heavy to be knocked open. And upon further investigation, you quickly notice the money has been taken. So, during the course of those events, a thief took off with some cash. So, you all have two issues in front of you. One, the popworms are going crazy all over the place. And two, there appears to be a thief active in the area. So, go. At this point, I will allow you a moment to plan and discuss what you would like to do.
So what I'm hearing is a worm has popped up in the carnival.
Yes.
Seems there's more than one type of worm running around.
The puns are improving.
I think I'd like to look around and see if I can find those kids that were trying to steal earlier.
Okay. You can give me a perception check on that.
Yeah, okay.
Would I be able to aid him in that, or am I too busy distracted with something else?
You can aid him right now. I'm assuming you all are together and like coming up with plans at this moment. So yeah, you can aid him.
Okay. Well, I got a 21 before the aid.
Jameson, feel free to throw out the aid.
Hang on, I'm trying to figure out my total calculation. I got 11 on my dice, and I got to see what my bonus is. I think it's a +4 from cooperative nature, and then diplomacy is another. Okay, and then my diplomacy is a plus. Oh, so it's 20 total, I think.
Okay, successful aid. So, all right. So, what was your total, Fester? Sorry.
21 before the aid.
So 22 total. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jameson, you kind of start asking around the crowd using your diplomacy to maybe try to flush these teenagers out, and pretty easily you all are able to find and corner that little red-haired half-elven girl. She had worked her way over, and she was playing with one of the baby owlbears when you find her. Hey, Hazeldorf, what are you doing?
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So we're all surrounding this individual?
If you want to join in, you definitely can.
Okay.
I figured I'd see what you were doing before jumping into that conversation.
Sure. So it's me, and who else is not in on this? Who wasn't aiding the prior check?
Gregolas.
Gregolas. Oh, perfect. Hey, Gregolas. You do like tracking things, right? Can you possibly identify any tracks around this box? I'm sure there'd be some crouched down near where this was found, picking up the money.
You read my mind. Is that a survival check?
Yes.
Can Bimley also make one to try and pick up a scent?
Yes. Survival in both cases.
I got a 15. And what did we it's for Bimley, it's +3 for being trained in it, and then his wisdom.
Yeah.
He got a 14.
Okay. Unfortunately for you and Bimley both, the carnival is just kind of so packed with people that there's like hundreds of footprints and all kinds of smells, and so looking around the area in specific, you're not picking out anything that you're like, oh, I think this might be the culprit. So
I'm not seeing anything. It's kind of just all mixing together. Maybe we could ask some of the carnival workers if they saw anything or anyone suspicious looking around.
That's a good point. We should go around and ask people.
Oh, okay.
So Hazeldorf will ask any nearby vendors, because I'm sure everyone was looking this way during the chaos. There's bound to be someone who's watching. So I will gather information.
All right.
Which I believe is diplomacy.
Yeah, give me a diplomacy check.
Can I aid in that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I rolled a 13 and I've got a +4 in diplomacy.
Okay. Um, typical aid is DC 20, so you're not. You don't really help him get any extra information, but I'll assume that you're also running around helping him ask questions. But Hazeldorf, what did you have?
20.
Okay. All right. We will get to what you find out here in a moment. Let us cut back to Fester and Jameson as you all confront this red-haired teenage half-elf girl. You find her pretty easily. She had worked her way into the owlbear pen, and there's a little owlbear that's got bright red fur, and she's currently playing with it and scritching it behind the ears and stuff, and she just seems to be having a good time. And as you all approach, she looks up, she sees Fester, and immediately gets a concerned look on her face. But what are you all doing?
Oh, I have such a perfect lead in for this.
Go ahead.
I kind of like put my hand on your shoulder, Fester, and say, "Hey, Fester, let me handle this opening part. You can follow up with me, okay?"
Sounds good.
So I walk up to her and I say, "Excuse me, young lady. We're investigating some missing money, and you unfortunately are a suspect. And I just wanted to say how concerning that is that someone so young would be a prime suspect in a theft. Um, out of all the sailors out there in the world, 3.14% of them are pirates, and it would be a shame for you to become a statistic."
I didn't know if that would work or not, but I'm glad I tried it.
Thank you for that. So she immediately has a panicked look on her face, and she's stammering a little bit. Fester, what are you saying?
I'm while he's saying that, I'm gonna be attempting to aid him by just giving her a you better tell the truth look.
Okay. So intimidate.
Okay. Mm. Mm. 12?
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you all come up and start talking to her. Fester, you're kind of glaring at her a bit, and Jameson, you're telling her what she's accused of, and she just starts stammering, and she's like, "Listen, I'm sorry. I know I was supposed to pay to play with the owlbears, but I just snuck in. I'm sorry about that." And wait, what do you mean missing money? I didn't do that.
What do we need to roll again to do like a sense motive on that?
Perception.
Okay, I'm gonna try to roll that. Okay, 18 plus 24.
Um, she seems genuinely shocked that you're accusing her of stealing money.
As I said, she is a suspect, not necessarily the culprit. So, um, did you happen to see anybody in the area while you came to visit the owlbears that might have messed with the money box?
Um,
Yeah.
all right. So, Jameson, you ask if she's seen anyone, and her eyes go really wide, and she like thinks for a second, and then she says, "No, no, I didn't see anyone."
I'm not
Okay, I am gonna
100%
need to.
convinced.
That's better. That's working, Drew.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was gonna zoom it in a little bit, but
Okay. Uh, Jameson, you can give me a perception check if you want to test the statement she just made.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. That's not very good. That's an 8.
She seems panicky, but you don't think she's lying. I mean, you did technically just catch her like sneaking into the petting zoo without paying, so maybe she's nervous about that.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Fester, what do you think? I've got nothing left to go on.
yeah. I am gonna ask her where her friends that she was working with before are.
Um, she points out one of them that is kind of walking through the area that they're in this particular part of the carnival, but they're not actively doing anything in the moment. They're just kind of part of the crowd. You see them off on one side, and she says, "I think the other one is watching Dante's performance."
Hmm. Okay.
So, um, while you guys absorb that for a second, we will cut back to Hazeldorf and Gregolas. So, Hazeldorf, you had a 20 on your diplomacy check, right?
Correct.
Okay. Um, so, you spend some time asking around, and um, this is kind of one of those situations where you don't get the information you're looking for, but you do rule out a bunch of things. You know what I'm saying? Like you're walking around.
Sure.
You're walking around. You're asking like, "Have you seen someone? Did you see this person? Did you see that person? Did you see what was going on?" And you start to rule out different possibilities, but you're not really. You haven't found anyone who saw something suspicious enough to count for a lead. Do you know what I'm saying? Um, but essentially, most of the regular carnival goers, when they were, or when all of this was happening, you've got a tent flying all over the place, you've got animals running wild. Most of the people were just trying to get out of harm's way, and so most of the carnival goers wouldn't have even have thought to try to grab a money box in that chaos. Um, and that does kind of clue you in that whoever did this knew what they were doing. Like they spotted the opportunity and they were ready for it, kind of thing.
Out of character, I was actually thinking about the same thing. Like, this had to be the work of somebody that knew where the money box would be. So, like, I've got a few suspects in mind.
Sure. Talk to me. Who do you think it might be? Maybe we can narrow this down.
Well, I'm out of character because my Jameson is actually busy with Fester in the Owlbear section.
Oh, my apologies.
Like,
my
I'm
apologies.
I'm talking 100% out of character at the moment.
If you all want to reconvene, I'm okay with that.
Hmm.
Another thing we could look into is maybe that tent was loosened from the ground.
Yeah,
That's a good point. First of all, you said the box was heavy, right?
Mm-hmm. It's
Like,
pretty solid item. Like even if it got knocked over, it shouldn't have been knocked open.
right. Was it something that, like, can we narrow down the type of people who might have been able to knock it over? Like,
Um, it would. If someone was trying, they could knock it over reasonably easy. but actually getting it open, that would take some serious work or some serious skill.
Ah, okay. I'd like to go inspect the box real quick. Does it have like a lock, or what was keeping it like protected?
It has a lock, or it has a lock on it. Um, give me a thievery check to inspect the lock. And someone
Can I
mentioned
use crafting?
you can use crafting as well.
Thank you.
And did someone want to investigate the tent?
I'll investigate the tent.
All right.
I will go with him since we're already kind of teamed up at this point. I'll go with him to check out the tent.
Okay, for the tent, crafting, survival, or thievery, any of those three could work for checking it out. So,
Okay, let me see here. Okay. I'll roll thievery.
Alright.
Thievery
I will
is
go with
the only one
survival.
I'm trained in.
Gregolas, what would you like to do while this is going on?
I can also investigate the lockbox. I've got a 7 in thievery, so.
Okay. All right. So, everyone go ahead and make your rolls, and we'll start at the lockbox. So, Hazeldorf and Gregolas, what did you all have to investigate the lockbox?
Got an 11.
I got a 15.
Okay. So, at first glance, the lock looks like it may have been busted open in some fashion. It's kind of made to look like the box was knocked over and the lock got hit in some fashion and it caused the lock to pop open. But Gregolas, on a little bit of a closer inspection, you notice the signs that this lock was being fidgeted with deliberately, and then after it was opened was when it was made to look like the lock got bent.
So someone picked it and then tried to make it look like it was broken.
Yes.
Gregolas, how long do you think it would have taken them to open this lock?
Mark, do I know that?
Typical lock picking would, depending on the skill of the picker, could take 10, 15 seconds, maybe up to a minute. Easily enough time, like, you all spent a good half hour chasing tents and pot-bellied bullets and all kinds of stuff. There was enough of a window of a time that somebody could come up and pick this lock and try to stage it during that chaos.
So there was plenty of time to do it while we were
Mhm.
wrangling animals.
Yes.
Do you think it would have been, could an amateur lockpicker do this? Could anyone do it? What do you think?
Mark, how good of a quality of the lock is there? Is it?
It's a fairly basic lock. This carnival is kind of thrown together relatively quickly, and so none of the supplies would be superb. It's functional, but there's nothing special about it.
The fact that they picked the lock and then made it look like it was broken tells me that it's not some rookie doing this. They knew what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So career criminal, you would say.
Yeah. And I'm also wondering if there's anything else at the carnival that's worth stealing that they could also be going after.
Oh, that's a good point.
You would know, as a general statement, that all of the different stands, all of the different attractions do have their own money boxes.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to recall knowledge on petty thieves or the like.
All right.
What is the probability that someone is likely to not be content with this? Like, was this a big enough hit that they're content and they probably already left, or are they hungry for more?
Okay. Society, maybe?
One moment, I accidentally closed Path Builder. 19.
Judging from the
And kind of the reason why is because normally when you recall knowledge, it's kind of based on like the level of the enemy. So I figured if I could at least get some kind of profile, or at least like get a trait, for instance, that they might have.
Now, granted, this is a little bit of a speculation on your part, but from the fact that whoever hit this money box took the time to stage it after they hit it, that kind of tells you they probably have other plans. Because if they were just going to like grab the money and go, they had plenty of time to do that. The fact that they tried to stage it and make it look like an accident tells you they are probably still around, and you would suspect they probably have other things in mind for this carnival.
Okay. I think we've got as much as we can get here. Let's go group up with the others at the tent and see if they found anything.
All right. So for Fester and Jameson, what did you guys have to investigate the tent?
I got an 18 on thievery.
I rolled survival, and I have an 11 total.
Okay, so it takes you a little bit of time to piece it together, but what you are able to figure out, the stakes for the tent, 3 of them pulled up, 1 of them is still stuck in the ground. And when you compare that to the tent that has now been gathered back together, you kind of match up the ropes that would have gone to those, and the rope for the stake that stayed in the ground, on close examination, very clearly was cut.
I'm going to look at that cut and see if I can figure out what kind of knife was used, and if I'm trying to get again, just like Hazeldorf, I'm trying to get a profile of this guy, the guy that cut this. So, yeah. Could I roll underworld lore for this?
Sure, underworld lore could work.
All right. Cool. Well, I only got an 11.
Can I attempt to aid him with the diplomacy to aid? Would that make a difference?
Probably not. Well, hold on, I'm trying.
You're probably better off making your own check at this point.
Yeah.
What type of skill would be an option for me here? I don't have a strong skill set outside of like sailing lore and survival. And diplomacy.
Could you use sailing lore to identify what kind of knife would be needed to cut the rope?
Yeah, I'd allow sailing.
With a familiarity with ropes.
Yeah, you got to know ropes to sail.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I can do that, yeah. I got a nat 20.
Okay.
Dude knows his ropes.
He aced rope 400 at school.
Okay, so from your time on ships, you would know that a lot of sailors would carry very small daggers on themselves, often for if they needed to cut a rope quickly. And you can tell from this cut that, you know, this was a small implement that was almost designed for the purpose. Do you know what I'm saying? But
designed for cutting ropes.
You're looking at it was a specific tool, and the person who used the tool knew what they were doing.
can I identify as Hazeldorf tried to and Gregolas tried to? Would I be able to distinguish the type of blade used? Like I know it was obviously a small. Would there be any distinguishing marks of like the type of, or do I even have enough?
Um, I would say you would know it if you saw it. I don't know knives well enough to say this is the type of knife it would be, but like if you saw a knife, you would be like, yeah, that's the kind of knife that could do this.
You could probably tell if
Okay.
it's like a serrated blade or like a straight blade because of the way it would cut, maybe.
Um, now, I would say like you are aware that whatever was used is kind of in the tool category. So this is something that would be reasonably common, but not necessarily something that everybody's going to carry. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
I also have another
Um,
question that. Sorry, go ahead.
Something that that you could get easily, but not everybody would want it.
Okay. I do have another question mark that might be tiptoeing into metagaming territory. So, uh, let me know if this is a unfair question. Um, when we first met the people running the carnival, did you did we know? I forget if you told us the people running the carnival are they all from this village or did they come in from outside to put this on?
Most of the big names are from outside of the village. There's only two that are actually from the village proper. One is Mayor Dennis that hired you guys, and the other one is the halfling lady that's running the games, Primrose. She is on the town council. So those two are from the town, but the other presenters, Joe Law and Dante, Joe Law, Dante, Aliok, and am I forgetting somebody? Anyways, the other presenters are all from outside of the town. They're people who brought their stuff in, and you would also know that Daisy Redstar, the bookkeeper, she was sent by the Church of Abadar to help with the books for the event. So she's also an outsider.
There was Granny
Okay.
Linda. He said her.
Yeah. Uh, Jola and Granny, Aliok, and Dante are the outsiders.
Okay. Um, I want to pursue a theory and see if I can find Daisy the bookkeeper. I have a question for her.
Okay. Now, I will remind you all, you have dual problems here:
Yeah.
thief and popworms.
I can start working on the pop worms if anybody wants to join me.
I am not great at manhandling anything.
Yeah, I think I'll help. I'll help out with the pop worms. Now I assume that there are the carnival goers still panicking when it comes to these pop worms.
The popworms are mostly playful. Like
Okay,
they'll loop around people and hug them for a second, but they're not truly aggressive. So
right. That doesn't mean people aren't panicking.
um, there's probably some people who are just like, they've kind of got that reaction of what is this? But for the most part, the panic has subsided.
Okay, okay, good.
Uh,
All right.
excuse me. Can we have grouped up and kind of give some information at this point?
Yeah, I'll assume you guys are grouping up and deciding what you want to do.
Mhm.
Okay, so we know quite a bit of information. if Jameson and I go and ask some questions, and you guys can handle the popworms because I couldn't be bothered, that'd probably be best.
Actually, if you're going to go gather information, then maybe I should go with you. I'd probably be good at that.
I can help Gregolas with popworms if need be.
Yeah. I'd probably be better with.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd probably be better at gathering information than helping with the popworms. To be honest with you.
Well, Jameson, didn't you have any kind of suspicions? Like, walk
Yeah.
us through that.
Well, you could. I mean, you could go in my place. I was basically curious, since most of the people putting on the carnival are outsiders, especially the bookkeeper. Originally, I was wondering if maybe the mayor had hired somebody to pilfer some of the revenue from some of the presenters. So considering his village is small, but I also wonder. I mean, there's a dedicated bookkeeper who I'm sure would, be keeping track of the records and stuff. I'm curious if she would have, any insights as into, would somebody be trying to, or maybe would she be trying to fudge some of the numbers in order to make the carnival look better than it actually did.
Let's see. Can I recall knowledge on the Temple of Abadar to see what I know about Abadar and the religion?
Yeah, religion or society, your choice.
Oh, thank God. Society, please. 15.
15. In general, the Church of Abadar is they are famous for being bankers and economists. The Abadar is seen as the god of society, and they are known for being very honest and very scrupulous when it comes to just like managing finances. It's why a lot of them go into banking. So, it would be very scandalous for someone associated with the Church of Abadar to engage in theft or fraudulent money schemes of any kind.
Okay, so highly unlikely that she's necessarily involved in the theft. Then
It might not be a bad idea. What I think I might do is, if Fester wants to go question anyone, I can send Jimothy out. He's very small, hard to see, and he can run around and see what if you said there might be some kind of tool used to cut the rope specifically. Maybe he can see something on someone's belt or in a satchel.
Okay.
Yeah, we're looking for a very common tool that might not necessarily be in high demand. So anything that looks like it would be great at quickly and easily cutting a rope, but not necessarily everyone would be carrying one around.
Okay, Jimothy, do you know what a blade is? I think he's got it. I'm only half sure, though.
If I show him my rapier, can I try to communicate to him that it would be something much, much smaller than that? Like maybe his size or smaller?
I have a dagger.
Well, there you
go. I will say you communicate to Jimothy, and familiars are intelligent, so you're able to kind of give him an idea of these are the parameters of what you might be looking for, and you can easily send him out on that search. So Jimothy's going to go do that. Fester, are you going to go question people?
I'm going to go ask around, see if anybody saw anybody suspicious.
Okay.
Jameson, if you would like to go question the mayor, feel free. I know that past performance is not a good indicator of how this, but I should be able to handle the popworms with Bimley.
Here,
Okay,
you can
Zane,
have my net. I don't think I'll need it.
I can offer aid as a backup buddy. So I'm happy to go with you. I just want to. I was just having some thoughts about probably some incorrect thoughts about who might be involved, because we probably don't have enough information to really figure out who at this point. I was just kind of thinking out loud, but I'm happy to go help try to round up some of the popworms.
Sounds good then.
Okay. So I guess what we'll do is, if you are chasing down popworms, you will need to make athletics or nature checks. And then if you are trying to investigate possible thieves, you can give me diplomacy checks to kind of ask for information. And then for Jimothy, give me a perception check for the homunculus. And
Yeah,
I got
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
I'm not finding anything. I rolled a natural 1, so 8.
Oh no! You do have hero point.
That's true.
Because we got back from break, everybody has an additional hero point. Like I said, I am
Okay.
great at remembering those.
Okay. All right. I am gonna re-roll that with a hero point.
Okay.
That's a good point. Okay. This time I got a 23.
Okay. All right.
I got a 19 diplomacy, and Jimothy has a 23 perception.
Okay. All right. Are you all asking anyone? Are you all talking to people in particular, or are you just kind of asking around? I guess is.
I'm gonna just ask around. Maybe Hadeldorf can ask specific people.
Okay.
I'll ask the vendors at the various stalls if they've noticed anyone kind of lingering around.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just asking around for if anybody saw anyone suspicious.
All right. So you all spend some time asking questions, going around. In terms of specific individuals, you're not finding a lot. However, Jimothy does stumble across something important. The behind the food court area is the business office command tent, if you will, and there is a toolbox back there that has very clearly been knocked over, and stuff has been fished out of that toolbox. And among that kit of supplies, there would have been a dagger appropriate to slicing ropes. So you suspect you know where the tool was originally taken from.
I have a suspect in mind.
All right, for our popworms, for our popworm chasers, what do you guys have?
I rolled an 18 on survival. Bimley rolled a 3.
Poor Finley. I have a 14 on athletics.
Okay. So the good thing about capturing popworms is that it's not hard to do. They are curious creatures. The real trick is mostly just like once you catch one, wrapping it up before it can pop away. Um, so you guys are chasing them down and capturing them and bringing them back. The Jola has a special cage that he's gotten out, And whenever you all are bringing the popworms back, he's having you all put them in that cage, so because he can't get the tent set back up. But you guys are slowly catching them and bringing them back, with the exception of Bimley, who is just enduring the absolute torture of kids rubbing his belly. You're not sure. I'm sorry, Gregolas. You don't know if Bimley's going to make it, because it is the absolute worst. He has been taken completely out of the fight by belly rubs.
That poor dog.
I think you need to retrain him. He's not doing very well.
Yeah, I agree.
But essentially, we'll say that over the course of about an hour, you guys managed to catch about 10 of the popworms that had escaped, and bring them back. There are still a few out there. And it's getting close to 11 o'clock at night at this point. I will say that you all have a moment where you can kind of reconvene and discuss what's going on and what has been found before continuing your efforts.
Well, I guess we know where the knife came from, but we don't know who took it. But
I have another idea. So we know the knife came from a toolbox behind the business office, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Let me check something real quick. Okay. I was about to say something that would have turned out to be incorrect. However, I still have a thought. Did we notice the boxes being turned over? I know you said was kind of a ruse to make it look like they got damaged when they were actually picked.
Yeah. It was staged to look like it was knocked over and knocked open, when that was not actually the case.
I wonder if it's somebody tall enough to try and pick the box, but not quite tall enough to take out what's inside. So in an attempt, after they picked the lock, they couldn't tell what was inside, so they knocked it over, one, to create the ruse, and two, to claim its contents. I wonder if the game director is involved, because she is the only other director that is from this small village. And I wonder if that's enough motivation. If this village is tiny enough and this event is like one of their major sources of revenue, maybe she would have a motivation to try and garner more direct income for the village out of this.
maybe.
She is a halfling, so she would be small enough maybe not to be able to see into the box, and would have motivation to knock them over if she was able to pick it. And she's director of the Carnival Games, which means she must have skill at doing very odd things.
You
There's
seem
also
very
probably-
hell-bent. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
There's also probably a limited number of people that know about that toolbox in the command tent.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I'm thinking somebody in the carnival somebody in the carnival would know about that.
Maybe we should ask the mayor, who would know that that was there.
Hazeldorf, did you have something you wanted to say?
It's fine.
Okay.
I think he was pointing out Jameson seems rather set on, oh, it's definitely somebody running the show, when we don't necessarily have any proof that that's the case.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
but then
mean-
everyone started agreeing with you, so it's just like, okay.
Yeah, we don't.
I am honestly not great at solving puzzles like this. I just like to think out loud and see what happens with it.
No, that's perfectly fine. It was more of an in-character thing than an actual critique.
Yeah. I do think it would have to be someone who either found that toolbox or already knows about it.
The only problem I have is if the box is knocked over, why would someone who actually works here knock it over? I mean, they could just go get the tool and not knock the box over.
Quick clarifying question for you guys. Where would you guys be meeting up?
I'm assuming the only place we could hear each other, so probably somewhere less occupied.
So maybe close to the business office then?
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Definitely sounds good.
My only, because we haven't been able to find any tracks or indication on whom it might be, the only thing I can assume is we base on some, arguably some speculative profiling that the individual would be looking for another hit of some kind. Now, it's funny you mentioned the Games Keeper because I can't think of a bigger ripoff. I mean, games of chance than the Games Corner where people lose money left and right for silly stuffed animals and such. So,
Right.
that would be my guess as the next biggest, like, jackpot that this individual could be looking for. But we might be able to look at other locations to see if maybe they're easier to sabotage, might say. But going to the Games Corner kind of kills two birds with one stone, some questioning and maybe some scouting in the nearby area. So maybe that might be the best place to go.
Yeah, I do think we're gonna have to. I don't think we have enough information yet. So I think we might have to wait until this guy strikes again.
So
That's fair.
So I'm hearing that maybe you guys want to make your way towards the games area and possibly investigate that and possibly investigate Primrose.
I'm game for that, yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Are you traveling as a group or do you guys want to split up or what's your approach?
I think we need to start narrowing down the search. So if we can get more exact information. I mean, I don't know about you all, but I've been kind of having a hells of a time at this carnival, and I'm not too sure of myself at this point. You can call it a blow to my ego. I'm calling it being a realist.
Yeah, that's fair. This has been as the mayor was afraid. This has turned out to be quite a topsy turvy event.
Kidding.
Okay, so traveling together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we are.
All right. So you guys begin to travel from the business area through the food court on towards the games section. As you travel, I need you all to give me perception checks.
I don't see
23.
nothing.
I got a nat 20, 27.
Nice.
I have a 12.
Okay, so Hazeldorf, you will hear this pretty quickly, but Gregolas, you pick up on this almost instantly. As you guys are traveling, but by convenience, you happen to be walking about perfectly for this. To get to the game section, you have to go through the ride section. So you're going through the rides, and Gregolas and Hazeldorf, you both pick up on some very loud, some very intense straining of metal. And Hazeldorf, having worked in this section earlier in the night, you almost immediately snap your head in the direction of Old Pride and Joy, the Ferris Wheel. Because, like, you kind of just recognize the sounds a little bit. And Gregolas, you quickly follow beat. You look over and you realize that about 4 of the pop worms are curiously investigating the engine for the Ferris wheel, and their electric aura is causing the engine to fire faster and faster and faster, and you see the Ferris wheel starting to spin quicker and quicker and quicker. What are you guys doing?
Is the engine at ground level?
Yes, it is at ground level. It's back behind a roped off section, um, but it's not too hard to get to.
I want to run up to it and how many popworms did you say there were?
There's about 4 popworms flying around it and curiously investigating it.
I want to run up and try and grab their attention / grab one of them and wrap it up.
Okay. Hazeldorf, what are you up to?
Seeing all this, I take Jimothy. I'm like, go pull the brake thing over there, like pantomiming. He has manual dexterity as one of his familiar abilities.
Okay.
So he can do that. And while you're distracting the popworms, we're trying to get them off. I'm gonna hop on the engine and I'm gonna see if there's any way I can like depower it or turn it off, either to save the Ferris wheel or maybe at best to help not damage this thing either, and get like a 2-for-1. So
Okay. So Gregolas is going for the popworms. Hazeldorf is trying to mess with the engine. Jimothy is going for the brakes. What about Jameson? What are you going to do?
I will assist in trying to get the popworms.
Okay. And Fester.
I think I'm going to look around and make sure that our guy that we're looking for didn't cause this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Fester, I want you to give me a perception check. Hazeldorf,
Yeah.
you can give me crafting or thievery, your choice. And then for Gregolas and Jameson, your choice of nature or athletics. All right, and I see signs of celebration. So Hazeldorf, what'd you get?
well, I was scared for a second because the animated die rolled on a 2 before rolling to 18, which makes it a 25.
Okay, all right. With that roll, it's gonna take you a few rounds because the engine is already kind of firing really fast, and so it's going to take you some time to successfully slow it down. But you almost immediately key in on exactly like what you need to pull, what you need to do. You know the steps to take. It's going to take you a few rounds to do it, but you've got this thing figured out and you're working on it. So, Gregolas and Jameson.
I got a 21
All right.
for nature.
I got a 21 for athletics.
Okay. And Fester.
So close to rolling a 19, but 7.
So with the sounds of the Ferris wheel, people are starting to get panicky again, and so there's a lot of clamor and stuff going on. And you're scanning the crowd. Like, this would be the perfect moment for the thief to strike.
Mm-hmm.
But then you hear a loud ping, and you look up and see one of the seats on the Ferris wheel. The metal that's holding it in place is starting to bend, and one of the bolts pops out, and a couple of the kids that are in that particular seat start screaming as they realize that their chair is in danger of coming loose. And like when you look up and see that, you kind of forget to continue scanning the environment around you. I will say, Gregolas and Jameson, you have successfully contained 2 of the popworms. So you managed to grab them and wrap them up, and they are successfully contained for the time being. Hazeldorf is continuing to shut down the engine. So right now we still have 2 popworms that are messing with the engine, and we have the one of the chairs on the Ferris wheel is starting to snap and bend and come loose. So we will go to Fester. Fester, what are you doing?
I am yelling to my ranger friend. I'm sorry, I'm horrible with names. But I'm yelling to him saying, "Hey, we got a problem up there because I am the last person to catch these kids."
I look up and can I go ahead and act on this?
Yes. You. If he points it out, you can easily see the situation he's referencing.
Yeah.
I have a Tanglefoot bag I'm going to throw at the children.
Okay. Give me a ranged attack roll. This will just be trained proficiency plus your dexterity modifier, so 3 plus dex mod.
That's a nat 20.
Those kids are not going anywhere. You just time slows down for a second, and you track the spinning of this Ferris wheel as it's going faster and faster, and you just perfectly pitch this Tanglefoot bag so that the glue catches the kids and the chair and kind of locks it in place to prevent them from falling. So, fantastic aim on that.
I would award that a hero point.
That's fair.
This is an iron structure, right, for the Ferris wheel?
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple of the popworms, correct?
Yes.
All right. Who has the popworms specifically?
Gregolas and Jameson each have 1 popworm kind of wrapped up in those small nets.
Okay. I don't know if it will help, but if these things have enough electrical charge, where he's saying this while he's like connecting wires and trying to get the engine going. If they have enough electrical charge to mess with this engine, there might be a possibility that we might be able to magnetize the supporting beams on the Ferris wheel. It might not stop it, but it can definitely create drag. If you take the worms and run them just in one direction along one of the steel beams, it should create at least some drag.
I would allow an Arcana check to try to mess with the popworm's aura to get that to happen.
Okay. I think I'm pretty good at Arcana.
I'm currently turning the engine off, so I can't do it.
I'm no good at Arcana, but if somebody wants to take this popworm off my hands,
I can.
Or Jameson and Fester technically have an opportunity to act here. So
okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll Arcana here.
Okay.
$17.
Okay. It's hard to tell in this specific moment because things are happening so fast, but you've got the popworm, you're rubbing it, you can see electricity firing off. You're not sure if it's working or not, but you're doing something, you're trying. Jameson, what are you up to?
I mean, I've got a rope I could try to tie up one of the netted popworms and see if I could maybe use that to create drag in another section of the Ferris wheel, maybe.
All right.
But I don't have Arcana, so.
You would know that you don't know what you're doing.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Could nature potentially be used to coax the worm to create a charge?
I'd allow it. If you have nature, you can try that, Jameson.
Well, my nature is as poor as my Arcana. They are both very, very bad, but I could still give it a shot, I guess.
What
Okay.
about intimidate?
Go, do
Uh,
it now.
I growl at the popworm and try to get it to understand common.
I coerce
have
the
the-
popworm.
I have diplomacy. I could try to tell a joke bad enough to get it riled up and start shooting electricity out.
Essentially, what I will say is, in this moment, Jameson, you know that you don't have the skills to try to mess with the magical aura of a popworm. Like, you would just be smart enough to know that I am guessing. And
Okay.
however you choose to act, you can do whatever you want, just you would know that you have no idea what you're doing.
That's fair enough. I'm not one to. I'm a man of the sea, not a man of the dice, so to speak. So I don't feel comfortable gambling on the lives of people with an unknown effect here. So I guess I'm just going to kind of see if I can grab another popworm and try to slow down the Ferris wheel.
All right. Give me an athletics check. Or nature, either one.
Okay, athletics, 13 plus 3, 16 total.
Okay. You managed to grab popworm number 3, so there's only one that's still kind of flying around loose. Really quick, what is everyone's perception DCs?
16.
14.
And that is 10 plus your base number, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mine is 16 as well.
Okay.
So 10 plus your perception modifier?
Yeah.
17.
Okay. All right. This will be the last round that Hazeldorf needs to work on the engine to get it shut down. The Ferris wheel will still have some momentum to it once the engine shuts down, but at the end of this, and I'm using round kind of loosely here, but at the end of essentially this turn of actions, Hazeldorf, you will have successfully shut the engine down where the Ferris wheel will begin to slow down properly. But the rest of you, what would you like to do?
Is it possible to help Jimothy with the brakes on this thing?
Oh, I forgot about Jimothy. Thank you for mentioning that. I guess just give me a straight D20 roll for Jimothy.
All right, flat check. A 9.
Okay. You can through all of the chaos and the sound, you can hear you can hear the grinding sound as Jimothy is like grabbing this lever and trying to pull it back, and the lever's the lever's bigger than him, so he's kind of struggling with it a little bit. You do see Aliok running in your all's direction. He seems to be coming for the break as well, so you think he's probably going to help Jimothy when he gets here. Thank you for reminding me about Jimothy. I forgot about that. So, but to Fester, what do you do? Oh,
I think I'm going to just keep trying to slow this thing down with the popworm I've got.
okay.
Yeah,
Give me another Arcana check.
sure. This time only an 11.
You feel a lot less confident this time.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, well.
Gregolas, what are you up to?
I forgot I had push to talk. Sorry. How easily did Jameson wrangle his popworm earlier, or his 2 that he's caught?
Very easily.
I am going to start. So is there a lockbox of money at the acrobat area?
There are lockboxes of money all over the place. There's some by the rides, there's some by the acrobats, there's some by the games. Basically, anywhere someone would pay to do something, there's going to be a lockbox of money.
I'm gonna make a beeline for where that lockbox is kept near the acrobats act.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
A 17 total.
17. I will give you this as you're going. You're on the lookout for a potential thief. You failed the roll. You can spend a hero point if you would like to.
Yeah, let's do that. That's worse.
Okay. You're running that way. Jameson.
Is there? I know you said there were lockboxes all over the place. Oliolt's stand where he's been kind of overseeing all the rides and stuff. Does he have a lockbox in his area as well, or is it just like for the individual rides?
There would be one for each ride, essentially.
Okay. I would like to go with since Fester and Hazeldorf seem to have the Ferris Wheel situation coming to a close, as it were. I want to go and follow Gregolas and go check out the acrobats area.
All right. Perception check as well.
Ooh, nice. Okay, I have a 23 perception.
Okay, so Gregolas takes off to go north towards the acrobat area, and you follow in behind. Both of you kind of having the same thought of this is the perfect cover where our thief might try to strike again. As you were going, you glance over at the lockbox that's back up behind the Ferris wheel where the people would be getting onto this ride. And you catch just a glimpse of a shadowy figure darting away, and this lockbox is also on its side.
Can I do I have time to yell for the rest of people like, hey, somebody just attacked the lockbox?
We will go ahead and say at the start of our new, I'm using rounds kind of, I'm kind of using soft rounds here, but at the start of this new set of rounds, we will say that you can kind of shout out that you've seen someone. Hazeldorf, you have successfully shut down the engine. The Ferris wheel is slowing down, and because of Gregolas's absolutely epic Tanglefoot bag throw, there is no danger to the chair. Thank you, Gregolas, for completely wasting like 5 rounds of actions I planned on that.
Anytime.
So essentially, with the exception of I think there's one popworm that you all haven't contained yet, all of that is taken care of. There is nothing else going on, and that popworm might fly off. You're not sure, but what are you all doing? You do hear Jameson kind of yelling that there is a shadowy figure that apparently was trying to hit the lockbox for the Ferris wheel.
As soon as he yells, I'm going to turn my attention that way and run towards the lockbox, but like keep a lookout for anybody who's running away.
Okay. All right.
Hazeldorf will run over to Jimothy. He'll whip up a cheetah's elixir, feed it to Jimothy because Jimothy can't benefit from item bonuses, but he can benefit because he's a familiar. He can benefit from status bonuses.
Nice.
Also, I have the fast movement familiar ability. So for the next minute, he has a movement speed of 45.
Oh, nice.
Go, Jimothy! Get whoever that is! And Jimothy's like, runs really fast, small through the crowd.
Okay, so essentially, are you all giving chase?
Depends. I still. I'm assuming I was able to get the popworm that I had into one of those nets. Is that right?
Yeah.
Then yes, I'm giving chase as well.
Okay. So uh, we are going to move into a chase scene, um, and I will be Hazeldorf. You may assume that you have some ridiculous bonuses because of the movement speed of Jimothy and him trying to move into corralling who this shadowy figure is. But essentially, everyone can make your choice of acrobatics or athletics. And I'm going to assume that you guys are like trying to fan out and corner this person, whoever they might be. So, so your choice of acrobatics or athletics, and everybody may roll.
I got a 16.
Am I rolling Jimothy's acrobatics or mine?
Roll yours and give yourself a +2 circumstance bonus.
Okay.
Sorry guys, I got a 4 on acrobatics, but I'm not exactly the best at physical stuff.
Are you a bard, right?
I am a bard, yes.
Do you have Inspire Competence?
No, that's a second level feat, I believe.
Ah, tragic.
Yeah.
19.
Okay. Jameson.
Would I be able to use one of my hero points to reroll this?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I ended up, I think, with a. Actually, let me double check. Okay, well, I can find out the result first, can I?
Yeah.
Okay, that was. Sorry, Pastor. Go ahead.
I was just gonna. I was definitely gonna use my hero point to re-roll this because there's no way I succeed with a 4. Okay, this time I got a 16.
Okay. That's a success.
Okay, mine wasn't as bad as I thought. I started out with a 10.
10 total?
Yeah.
A 10 will be a failure.
Okay, I do want to try and reroll that then. Okay, I'm glad I did that. That is a 24 total.
Nice. That is definitely a success. So, all right. So essentially, in this chase scene, your all's goal is to accumulate a total of 10 chase points before the shadowy figure manages to escape the premises. And I won't tell you how many points he needs to escape, but all of you all have a success on your opening round. So you guys, like, you've all zeroed in, you're on target, you're chasing, and you're trying to get that surround. Whoever this figure is, they are booking it towards the acrobat arena. They seem to be going in that direction. You are not close enough yet to have, like, you're not close enough to see the details of who this person is yet, but everyone may give me a second, give me rolls for the second round of the chase.
Okay.
Approximately how far away are they?
I'd say they're 80 to 90 feet.
Okay.
Ahead. Yeah. Okay. All right. And it's acrobatics or athletics again, right?
Yes.
I got a 3. I'm going to use a hero point to reroll it.
Okay.
I am also using my last hero point to reroll this.
I got a 14. Is that a success?
That will be a failure by 1.
Oh, goodness.
Did you say a 14 was a failure?
Also,
Yeah, the DC on this is
unfortunately,
15.
I critically failed then with a 5.
What was the DC?
The DC is 15.
I got a 13 on this one.
Jameson?
Oh, we just sucked this, right? I actually managed to get a 16 total somehow.
Okay. Jameson, you get a single chase point. Everyone else, there is a huge crowd of people. It's a chaotic environment. You're stumbling. You're knocking into stuff. You're getting spun for a loop. But I have some good news for you.
Mm-hmm.
The person you are chasing also critically failed. Meaning that Jameson has gotten close enough to tell that the figure that you are chasing is medium-sized.
Okay.
Okay, so my...
Sorry, go ahead.
So we know it's not the halfling then.
So,
Right, that's what I was going to say. We know it's not the halfling.
all right.
Medium size, like in general, or like a teenager but medium sized humanoid.
I would say humanoid shape, medium size. It could be like they're not. Jameson's not close enough to be like this is an elf, this is a human, something like that. But could rule out this is not a gnome.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Are halfling and dwarfs medium-sized in 2E?
Halflings are
Halflings
small.
are not.
Dwarfs are, but halflings are not.
But anyways, we will move on to round 3 of the chase.
I got a 13 plus 7, 20 total.
That'll be a success.
I got a 12.
That's a failure.
Yeah.
22.
That is a success.
Unfortunately, guys, I'm not even trained in acrobatics or athletics, so...
Oh, no.
I mean, I'm not either. I'm just getting Jimothy benefits.
Jimothy doesn't skip leg day at the gym.
Jimothy's is voted MVP for this session.
Jimothy is 5 feet faster than Bimley, which isn't saying much because Bimley's useless, but
He's 20 feet faster than me.
Jameson, did you roll yet?
I have a 10 total, and I think I have one more hero point I can use to re-roll that, because I don't like that result.
Yeah. That would be a failure, and I think you have one hero point remaining.
Okay, so this will be my last shot. I do have, if I manage to succeed at this one, I do have a question for the next round that probably will not work, but I'm curious.
Okay.
That's a 12 total.
Okay, that's
Jameson was the one who was ahead of us, right?
yes.
How close to Jameson is the individual, perchance?
I would say Jameson has probably moved to about 60 feet.
Okay.
The chase rules are abstracted, so
Okay, for the...
I was gonna say, if we're talking out our thoughts, you could, if you got within 30 feet, intimidate, which demoralizes them, which will give them a -1 on all their checks, and since they're also participating, it will benefit us. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
okay. Well,
That's a thought. Intimidation is not one of my stronger skills, but I might could try it.
Wait, are you? You're the swashbuckler, right?
Yes,
You have Bon Mot, right?
I do have Bon Mot.
What's the range on Bon Mot?
30 feet.
Okay, same deal. Because I believe Bon Mot, if I'm not mistaken, gives a reduction in will saves. So if you team up with someone, you can Bon Mot them. Their will DC will go down essentially, or someone else's intimidation to make that even better.
I'm pretty good at intimidation, but I have to get within within that 30 feet, and that's not going to be easy.
Okay. Well,
Mark,
yes.
sorry, I have another question. So the DC is 15, right?
Yes.
How do we figure proficiency bonuses?
Proficiency bonus. Trained is your level +2, so it would be a total of 3, and then it would be whatever the relevant ability score modifier is.
Okay, so I have Assurance Athletics, which
Mhm.
means I can take a 10 plus my proficiency bonus.
Yes. If that gave you,
Proficiency bonus would just be the 3, though.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
I see that now. Okay, never mind then. But I also have, since we're talking about intimidating the culprit, I have Hunt Prey. Can I declare this as my prey?
Yes, that is completely valid.
Okay, I also have Outwit, so I get a +2 circumstance bonus on intimidation checks. So when I get close enough, I can do that.
Okay.
Does your dog have intimidation by chance?
I don't think so. Let me read it real quick. No, he does not, but he does have knockdown. So if he bites them, he can just knock them prone.
If
Good
he
to
gets
know.
close.
Right, which I haven't been rolling for him, because he is still getting pets. But
If you want to call for Bimley to stop getting pets and join the chase, you can.
okay, yeah, I want to do that.
All right. Let's move on to the next round of the chase.
Mm-hmm.
I got a success. Do I need to roll separate for Bimley?
Yes.
Does Bimley get a bonus for being fast?
Uh, yeah, give Bimley a +1 on his roll.
Okay, he also succeeded.
Okay. Let's see. So Bimley succeeded. What did you have, Gregolas?
I rolled I want to say a 21. I know I got over 15. I rolled a 16 on the die.
Okay, that's a success as well.
I rolled a nat 1, so I used my remaining hero point to get a 22.
Nice. All right. Fester.
Okay. All right. Okay. This time I got a 17.
Success.
Hmm? Yeah.
And Jameson.
I have a 10, so I have a failure.
Okay. Unfortunately, Jameson, you're getting winded and you're starting to drop behind. But everyone else, you kind of pick up speed, and congratulations, you have had enough hero points to successfully chase down and catch this individual. So we're going to say he's running through the show area for the acrobats. Someone give me a dramatic description of how you take this thief down.
I got it. I've been planning this for a few rounds now. I was hoping I wouldn't fail. I want to I have soap in my backpack. I want to tie up soap with my rope to my hand crossbow and fire it, and so they trip on it and slip up and fall down.
Okay. So we are tripping him with soap, and who is going to do the tackle or takedown?
Jimothy jumps onto them and starts tying their shoelaces together with his manual dexterity.
Okay. All right. So you guys convene around this individual as he's trying to make his way through all of the staging for the acrobats, and this individual is surprisingly lithe. They're doing a very good job of like trying to get through it, but just you guys are able to spread around, and they just can't get through the maze of it fast enough. And then all of a sudden, that soap comes flying through the air and catches under their foot as they're trying to climb over something, and they just they hit the ground. And Jimothy jumps down and immediately starts trying to tie shoelaces together. But as they hit the ground, their hooded cloak flies back, and you see the figure of Mayor Dennis as he hits the ground in shock, and a bag of money that he had been trying to run with scatters across the arena.
I had a feeling. I
really feel like we should have been getting paid more if this was the case.
I want to approach the mayor, and I want to gloat and say, Mayor, you might have gotten away with two if it wasn't for us meddlesome kids.
But the dog really didn't help out much.
Yeah, the meddling dog wasn't that big of a problem.
So, what we will do, because we'll kind of fast forward through the close of this, but you all successfully capture the mayor, and he is caught red-handed. You also find one of those rope knives on him, so you catch him with the appropriate tool as well. You end up working with Primrose, as she's one of the town council. She works with you all to detain the mayor and to call for a guard from a nearby town to come and arrest him. And all of you are rewarded very handsomely for your services to the town. And the people who attended the carnival got to see a group of adventurers dramatically tackle a thief in the middle of an acrobat ring. So actually, it kind of becomes the talk of the villages around for the next several weeks, as your heroics in exposing the thief are just kind of lauded by everyone who got to see this crazy event take place. So, congratulations, you all. You all successfully caught the thief. You kept the carnival together, and job well done.
Woohoo!
Ooh, yeah. That's great.
So, in any case, we'll go ahead and do a show wrap-up real quick. To everyone who is watching this show, this video hopefully will be going live just a day before Gen Con starts. I will be at Gen Con, so if you are watching this video and you're at Gen Con, please come find me. To BadLuckGamer and Team Player Gaming, I don't know if you all will be there or not. Are y'all going to be at Gen Con this year?
I will not, unfortunately.
I will not either, unfortunately.
Okay. Unfortunately, I will be the only one you can catch if you are at Gen Con, but in any case, please go check out their channels. It was great to have you all here and playing and having fun. Cody and Steven don't have YouTube channels, but be sure to compliment them in the video description and let them know how well they did. And make fun of Bimbley's terrible ability to escape small children petting his belly.
Everyone offered Bimbley belly rubs.
But really quick, we'll start with Cameron. Tell us again what your channel is and any other socials where we can check you out. And then after you do that, we'll let Drew do that as well. So Cameron, take it away.
Sure, I'm the BadLuckGamer. You can catch me on YouTube, Twitch, and on Twitter. Also, if you want to catch me live, we have a weekly show, Table Talk, every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you want to come chat all things Table Talk, tabletop, you can talk with us there.
And Drew?
I run Team Player Gaming, and I'm on YouTube, I'm on Reddit, and I am on Facebook. So you can also check out my Patreon if you want, but that's about it.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming and being on the show. I had fun running this adventure, and I hope you all had fun playing it.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for running the game.
But
Thank you so much for running this.
But to everyone who has been watching this video, thank you for being here as well, and have a wonderful day.